Well, thank goodness that's that's over. Algeria 2, Rwanda nil. We get the win. We get the morale boost ahead of the Sweden game. But boy, if it was it was a tough watch, and watching that while fasting, I got to say it did make the time go slower. I think we saw more bridges from Constantine than goals during that game. Camera shots panning to that footage. Yeah, not great. Not great viewing. It very much felt like an end of season game. Like the club season had come to an end. Some players were tired. Some players were fatigued. And the day was a bit weird, really, because it started off with the big news that Ait-Nouri wasn't going to play because he was going to go and do a medical at Man City at the weekend. We don't know if he'll be back for Sweden. They didn't want Ait-Nouri to get injured. The FAF didn't want to, stop Ait-Nouri moving to Man City if they played him and he got injured and the Rwandan kicked him really hard. So he was at the side, and ironically, Hadjam, that played in his position, scored. So we had that whole situation, a bit bizarre really, surrounding Ryan Ait-Nouri. These things only seem to happen to us. Of course, Abdelli and Van den Kerkhoff pulled out the squad due to injury. I told you guys there'll be injuries. They're not going to call anyone in to replace those guys. They've called 29 names in the first place, which is a lot. So there's still plenty of faces to choose from for Vladimir Petkovic. And I said in the preview, I want to see Mazza, which I did. I want to see wholesale changes. I want the main team rested for the Sweden game. But goodness me, we started Mahrez, Baghdad and Belali with a combined age of 100. Their combined age is 100, 33, 34, 33. What was the point of playing Mahrez, who you need to rest for Sweden for the main game, Baghdad over Xhaka? It is absolutely criminal that Xhaka didn't play a single second. This guy's going to go and end up playing for Denmark again, and I wouldn't blame him. Why is Xhaka not played a minute? He should have started the game. And why on earth did Belali play? Don't come here and tell me he scored and assisted, please. That game was shocking. And if Belali scored a hat-trick, it meant nothing. We played an Arab Cup front three. It was an Arab Cup front three. If Belali scored and assisted, who cares? Who cares? What does it teach us? So do you want Belali to start the AFCON then? Because he's not going to. Do you want him to start in the World Cup next summer? Well, no, because he's not gonna. We should have played Shaibi. We should have played Hadji Moussa from the beginning. Hadji Moussa came on so late on when the game was so dead, barely had the ball. The only positive from this game, I would say, was Mazza, and even Mazza was playing very deep. I wanted Mazza to play further forward, but he couldn't. He couldn't because Belali and Mahrez were so attacking and never tracked back once. Mazza couldn't really go forward. Baghdad did nothing. Absolutely nothing. We put Amora on. Again, he should have been rested for Sweden. And when you did come on, he had a shot and got injured. And hopefully Amora's not injured now for the next game. So team selection-wise, I didn't really get it. I can only assume Ben Sebaini came off at half-time to rest him. I think Moderni is much better than Tugay. Tugay in the first minute could have easily given a penalty away. Moderni is, for the next 12, 18 months, can do a job. Strong, physical, powerful African-based defender. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I'll win stuff in the air. I don't mind it. Hadjem is a really good player, and it's going to be tough for him to be on the bench when everyone's fit because he's a good player there, and obviously he's playing in the Champions League last season for his Switzerland club. Ben Bort played in goal. Barely had anything to do until the last 10-15 minutes. I get it. Try a new goalkeeper. You don't lose anything. We actually kept a clean sheet. Usually we concede a Buki goal, but we didn't this time, so that's fine. Yusuf Attal relatively quiet, didn't go forward as much. Again, didn't want to risk any injury, but yeah, we kept a clean sheet. Nice touch, Bentala playing, a really nice touch. Easy game, play him, start him. Welcome back after the year he's had. Many people thought he wouldn't play again. Bentala back in the side. I'm not saying he's a starter for the future, but it's a nice gesture to play him and support him. Badawi very good. The first goal is all Badawi. The cross and the skill is absolutely fantastic. Badawi is in Algeria's main midfield. And like I said, Mazza didn't play as forward as I would have liked to have seen. But for me, to play that front three was a joke. There was absolutely no reason to play it. It should have been Shaibi, it should have been Xhaka, it should have been Hadji Moussa. That's what it should have been. And I guarantee you they probably would have won more than 2-0. So I didn't particularly understand that starting 11 at all in this game. But we come out of it with a win. We keep the morale flowing. We hopefully come out of it relatively unscathed with no injuries. But you got to say, it was a tough watch. At times, particularly in the second half, it was a tough watch. And Ben Rama and Amora and Haj Musa and even Shaibi, they didn't really get much of an opportunity to do anything. Rwanda didn't really pose much of a threat. Their striker was 38. They played the back five. Had a couple of shots at the end, which Ben Bork finally had to make some saves. But overall, the big story of the day is probably the fact that Ait-Nouri to Man City is confirmed, and that was what dominated the headlines even before a ball was kicked. Even the stadium wasn't full. Even the stadium wasn't full. Except it's Eid the next day, people fasting. But on to Sweden now, and people like Guiri Benassa that didn't feature today and almost certainly going to feature in that game. I hope Ait-Nouri comes back. I'm sure the keeper will change. We'll look ahead to that closer to the time, and of course I'm going there. But not much to say really. It's just it's a pointless game. The only reason you play these friendlies at home against lesser opposition is to test new players. And apart from Mazza and one or two others, we didn't do that. So we didn't really learn anything. It was more about getting the result on paper. So not much that can be said really. But Algeria 2, Rwanda 0. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We saw some Belayli dancing and diving throughout that game as well. Ref was having none of it. We shall see next week how we get on against decent opposition.